Hey there. Monday, July 8th, 2024. Welcome back to my little channel. Going to hit you up with a two-parter today. First, this will be part one of two. Next week on the 15th, I will hit you up with the second one. New to the channel, you probably don't realize that I'm involved with the Special Olympics. So we coach people with intellectual disabilities. If you are aware of that, then we're going to get into some specifics. The two-parter is going to be like this. Number one, we're going to get into evaluating a new athlete, and next week we're going to talk about on basically three different levels how we coach the intellectually disabled. And again, the obligatory, Special Olympics has no editorial control over my channel. They have no preconceived knowledge, and it's not endorsed by Special Olympics in any way, shape, or form. So these are personal opinions. In the way of an explanation, in 2010 I started with Special Olympics, and I was blessed. I have an autistic son who's now 22. So he was 8, newly eligible. It's eight to whenever, until you stop moving, I guess. But when he got involved, I started getting involved. But we also homeschooled him for a period of time. And so I had a lot of occupational therapists, speech therapists, variety of them. And I had some really, really good ones. And what they would do is they would listen, they would educate, because they wanted you to be able to do some of the things they were doing and extend the therapy. So as I began to be more of a coach, it's just occurred to me that this is the marriage of traditional coaching and therapy. And I think it's equal parts therapy, equal parts coaching. The coaches that have really struggled in our movement have been people that mean very, very well. Good people who just cannot get across that bridge to how to speak to those athletes and how to reach them and how to get them to be able to perform the things that we take for granted. Sometimes we have to break those into micro skills. We have to break like a shooting motion in basketball. We have to break it into 4 or 5 pieces. It requires a certain degree of patience, but it's like being multilingual. You can coach the neurotypical a certain way. It's the same sport, but you have to coach 3 levels of cognition. Require really, and we'll talk about this next week, 3 different levels of how you coach. And it sure isn't go over there. Doesn't work. And it's just that they look at the world differently. They experience the world differently. And so our movement, whether it's Special Olympics or any of the other organizations that work with our population, it's about can. What can we do? How do we get everyone to have the ability to experience achievement, how to experience the joy of competition. Life and sport are so intertwined. You teach life by sport and sport by life. And some of these kids are at a high level. Some of these kids are not. And to me, they're kids all the way up to age 80. I don't care. I'm 54. I don't hide the age or the hairline. But they're all kids to me. And that's not a pejorative. It's not I'm not putting anyone down. Like it's a term of endearment. I care about these kids, and just about all the other coaches are the same way. You can't do this work if you're just doing it as a job. If you did it for pay, you'd get mercenaries coming. They can't do it. You got to have a heart for this. It helps to have a kid in the program, to have a kid of your own like this, but it's not required. But if they have a therapy background, they make better coaches than professional coaches sometimes. Some of the professional coaches can get across that bridge, and it works. Okay, so that prefaces this two-parter here. So today I'm going to talk about the evaluation of a new athlete. So a new athlete comes in, and they can be anywhere from age 8, like I said. They could be a 22, 23-year-old. They could be a 30-year-old, or whatever. But there's a few things that I look for. Excuse me. And the first thing that I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be looking for. Let me look at my notes here for just a second so I don't skip something. Oh yeah, there we go. All right. So number one, you like the specs? If you're not old yet, you will be. I'll get you, my pretties. All right, so the first thing that we check, and then regardless if it's a contact sport or not, and we don't have a lot of contact sports. Basketball's close to it, the way it's played. But whatever it is, if it's a motion sport, we check meridians first. I mean, this is my opinion. This is, I think, the effective way of doing it. You don't just put them out on the court and go, hey, go play. Yeah, that's like maybe not good. So what we would like to see you do, and we kind of have a culture for doing in our program, is we check the meridians. So what happens, and I'll define that. We have a vertical meridian down the center. We have a horizontal meridian at the waist. Okay? The typical special needs athlete has a hard time going from taking one hand to cross that meridian, that vertical meridian, and they have a hard time going from top to bottom or bottom to top. So they have a hard time with that depth perception and with that perception going left and right. And so you test that in a variety of different ways. If you're in basketball, for example, you're gonna toss the ball softly, but you're gonna toss it so that they have to go catch it with two hands. Their hands have to cross the meridian. So you throw it off to the side slightly, off like to the point of the shoulder. Okay? No heat on it or nothing. And you're really basically trying to test the range of motion. But you're going to find out where they're having trouble, and you're going to really mark down what you see, and they may just have like a blind spot. You're also going to see if they can bend over well, or if they have a hard time going down, or do they have a hard time going up. And what I mean by up, above the head as well. Okay? So meridians are a major thing. You need to see where their blind spots are. That's a huge thing, because you need to know what you need to teach. Because you're going to teach range of like to a bottom cognitive, and again, not a pejorative, but somebody who's very basic. You're going to have to teach basic movements. You need to know what they got, what they don't got, right? Second thing that we're going to look at is, there we go. I hate putting them things on. Range of the eye movements. So, very similar to when we do a test for concussion, and we have concussion protocol training. So when a person has a possible concussion, you're looking at their eye. You're looking at whether their eyes move and their eyes and everything. But what you really want to do, even before they've hurt themselves or anything, you want on a check-in, you want to get their eyes moving. Their head stays the same. So you kind of get them to focus on a place on your face, and then you move and you move, and sometimes you can quicken and see how they're able to react. And you move up, down, sideways, a lot of different ways like this. And you watch the eye movements. Again, you're looking for blind spots. You're looking for neurological issues that they may have. Okay? And you may be saying, why in the world would I want to do that? Because you want to build them from where they are. You want to be able to build the capabilities, and there's ways to do that. You also want to put them at the right level in your program. Most of our programs have bottom cognitives. They're not called that, but very basic cognitive. Maybe they might not even be able. They may not be lingual yet. They may not be able to speak. They may have receptive problems. They may be very young. Okay. Middle cognitives they have emerging skills, and they have emerging speak. They're able to speak, they're able to hear, but their response times are inappropriate. And they're very long, and they're not able to really. They don't have court coverage. For example, I'm going to use basketball again, but it's any sport. They can't conceive of anything beyond the measure of a phone booth. Okay, so you're really in a moderate cognitive situation. Highly cognitive athletes can actually go and live on their own. They can get married. They can have kids, but they have those blind spots, And so those athletes are able to do much more, and you're able to maybe do less physical prompting and you can do more verbal prompting, even though you do have to continually use less jargon, and you keep things by. I mean, we'll talk about this next week, but just to tease it, you can't. You have to try to give them a series of binary decisions to be making, even at the highly cognitive level. And the lower down that scale you are, the more physical prompting is necessary with the verbal, hoping to fade that verbal prompt away, or fade the physical prompt away, and simply give the verbal, and then fade the verbal away. And this is a process of that's not unlike putting training wheels on a bike. Okay, it's not unlike that at all. Last piece I'm going to look at on this is response time. So I'm going to want to see the response time on a new athlete when I give a verbal prompt. So the verbal prompt, I want to see, is there a delay in processing the information verbally? Okay, I need to see that. Okay, and then I'm also going to want to see what the reflexes are, and that's non-verbal cues, like a ball comes towards them. Are they having a hard time getting their hands up? Or maybe they're just not processing the physical information quickly enough. Okay. Now, if you have a medical, you may see there may be an eye issue that you're not aware of. You need to look at their medical first. But if there's no eye issue that you're aware of and they're having a response time issue, pardon that call coming in. So if there's no like issue coming, as far as on the medical, then you're looking at, are they able to process physical information quickly? And there are corrections for that. And you meet them where they are, and you increase that response time, or you decrease the response time. You want the response time to go quicker, and that will build confidence, but it will also build competence. Okay, on the athlete. So I hope this is helpful. We will go into what we do with all that and how we coach at the three cognitive levels. And each sport's different. And by the way, coaches can look at this very differently. But in our county, which I won't name, there's people in other counties that see it the same way. But no two coaches are the same. But we kind of have the therapy plus traditional coach mashup in our most of our coaches, and it's extremely successful. We have best moment I ever had, and I'm not doing this. There's a number of our coaches can do the same thing, but I had a kid who was nonverbal, literally would be slobbering on the court, could not dribble a ball, could not get the ball to come up 2 times or 3 times. Got down on my knees with him, physical prompting, taught him how to dribble from 2 inches up, and just how to tap the ball, and just more. Then we stood him up. He didn't even realize what he was doing, and he kept tapping, and then I moved away from him, and he moved. And it took some time, took some things that I had to do, and some verbal comfort for the young man. But in about 20 to 25 minutes, he went from can't dribble to being able to dribble 25 meters. So no matter who you see, no matter how bad off they look, they can learn. We're a can-do society over here. And this is their oasis away from the prejudices and the lack of belief in our kids. So we give them that opportunity. We give them those I hate the use of safe space, but yeah, it's a safe space for them to be with their own kind. But also, they get the little wins that they've got to have. They've got to have them. It's critical. All right, so I look forward to seeing you guys next week. It's a little longer than I normally would, but it might be 15 minutes next week, I would think. But I figured that this 2-parter would be good and would be helpful. I would really appreciate engagement with the channel. I really need to broaden, get out in front of more and more people. Whether they be the uninitiated or coaches or anybody that's just got any level of a curiosity in this. So if you go you could comment, you could subscribe to the channel. That little ringy dingy, make sure that you get a notification whenever any of my digital goodness is going to hit your inbox. So you can come in here and hey, look, make fun. Look, the bald guy's on there again. He's saying silly stuff. Anything that will help this thing get going, I would really appreciate it. Um, and so I will leave it to next week. I hope you have a great week ahead, and I will talk at you later. Peace.